What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Circuit Breakers RC channel. Today we are going to do a little review on the Topmino 24 scale RC crawler. It's basically a knockoff of the Racent 24 scale RC crawler, which is a knockoff of the Axial SCX24. We're gonna get into it a little bit, give you a breakdown on my opinions on this vehicle and what its capabilities are or are not. Okay, so getting into it, this is the box. This is the box the first truck came in. Hint, hint. Just a little overview of what's in the box, etc. And then opening the box up. This vehicle has already been opened. This is not an unboxing by any means. It does have a little handbook that comes in with it. It comes with a couple of batteries for the car itself, batteries for the remote and the car. Now, this particular one, I got this in. This is the one that I originally ordered for my daughter, just to see kind of what her reaction towards it was going to be, and then I figured it was cheap enough that I could let everybody kind of play with it and see if it was going to be something that they were interested in. So I bought this. Like I said, this is basically a knockoff of the Axial SCX24 JLU. I personally like this. It's a hard body, not a Lexan body, and it came with the angry eyes in it already. So that was something for me that was kind of more of a selling point than the name, because I mean, let's be honest, if you're getting one of these, you're going to be changing out the electronics in it anyways. Even with Axial, the stock electronics can only do so much for you. So I had that mindset already in mind that I was going to get this and give it a test and see what we came up with. So on the bottom side, as I said, everything on this is basically Axial, except the frame rails are different on this. They're just a plastic rail, just a 1/8 inch maybe plastic rail. It's set up a little bit differently than the Axial. This bottom notch down is bigger than the Axial's is, and then in return it gives you these plates for the clips for the body on the bottom side down by the frame rails, which honestly I really personally like this. I'm not big on body posts coming up through bodies, and I saw the Axial one, and we don't have one here yet, and not an Axial version, not opened anyways. Some of them have the body post sticking out the front. I know that they hinge on the back. I'm honestly not super keen on that either, but those are things that we can modify when we get the Axial in. So body off, it's got light buckets front and rear, it's got headlights, it's got 2 blinkers, and it's got tail lights that also double as brake lights when you hit it in reverse, which is a silly setup. But that's the way that they have it set up, with a circuit board up here that kind of controls everything going through the plug into the ESC. So plastic hard body. I'm a big fan of plastic hard bodies personally. I always have been. I'm more of a scale kind of guy than I am a comp guy. I do all of this for the enjoyment of it, sitting down, relaxing. Now with the kids as well, sorry about that, is going to be, that's where I see more of a passion. When it becomes super competitive, or you have to have the best of the best to try and be to another person's skill level, I lose interest in it. And that's kind of what happened with me with Drift, and now here we are with micro crawlers, just more so for the kids. Obviously I'm going to enjoy it because it's RC, and it's something that I've been doing since I was a child, but now to be able to share that passion with my kids is kind of really more where it's at. Overall, electronics, they work. Obviously they're a factory knockoff brand, so it's not going to be anything special, but everything works. This particular vehicle we had for not very long, and the motor blew up on it. It burnt up on it. My daughter was driving it. She was, you know, we have a 10 scale basher that we play with outside. We got a little course that we're starting out there with that, and she loves that, so she wants to go fast. She's used to going fast, so she was driving this wide open for, you know, a short period of time. I did not think that was going to be an issue, but it burnt this little motor up. Again, it's 24 scale, so it's little, you know, and in hindsight, thinking back on it, it should have been something that I should have had a forethought on. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had a little malfunction there. Ran out of battery on my device here, so sorry about that. Don't mean to be moving you all over the place. Okay, so as I was saying, this particular car here, I had a very short period of time before this burnt up. So instead of buying a motor right away and just swapping all this out like I wanted to, I reached out to them. I got this on Amazon. I will have a link to this in the description if you have any desire to pick one up. I do have an affiliate link. I'm just going to state that right up front, so that way if you do click on it and buy one, you will support our channel just a little bit as well from that. So that would be appreciated if you do decide that you want to get one. Just know that you're going to want to change out the electronics. So far, the receiver, ESC, and transmitter seem to work okay. The servo in stock form, I don't have any issues. I don't see any issues with it. But as soon as you start changing things, then it starts to struggle a little bit. So I will show you what I'm referring to when I say that. Now, this is the second one that came. This was in stock form as well. It worked. So we've had this one for a couple of weeks now. It worked great. I have, you know, day 2 of having this one, when everything is working good. My son was playing with it. We made just a little pillow hill essentially to climb up, and he seemed to be having fun with it. So right away I went and grabbed a bunch of cardboard and some tape and put together just a small little hill climb essentially. And we'll insert a picture of that right here. So in stock form, the 2-part side, you could just barely get up. I could, with my experience, I could make it up to the top of it. I could figure out exactly which line it needed to be, and it wouldn't be an issue. The zebra cake box hill climb, you could make it up. Actually, it climbed up that really easily. I was very surprised by that. But you know, the more off-terrain type stuff, because it's narrow and its factory form is much narrower. And if you can see that, you know, wheel width, if I just put the off side lined up, you can see right here the difference in the track width now from what I've done to this one. So I will just say that this one also now has burnt up the motor in it. I do have some Enduro projects on the way, and I will do a review on those once I put those in, but I have I believe the red motor and plate, as well as the Enduro transmission, and I have high clearance links, Enduro high clearance links coming as well. So this is the same exact body as the other one. There's no differences there. Same electronics currently inside of this one. There's no changes, except there's weight changes on the underside. So I only put the brass diff plate cover on the front. I did not add it on the back. And I put heavy wheel weights on the front that widen it out. And then I just put the light duty wideners. They're brass, so they have just a little bit more weight than plastic. But they're not as heavy as the fronts, obviously. It currently still has all plastic links. The drive shafts are still plastic. It still has the plastic transmission. Everything else is still stock on it, minus what I just explained to you. This will be getting the transmission and motor Enduro swap into it, and then I will be changing out the links on this one as well, and then we will be giving it another review. I will say that this thing crawls 10 times better just with widening the track out and adding the weight down below. But the steering servo, now that I have all of this extra weight on the front end, this factory steering servo struggles. If you get into a tight, cantilevered position and you got your low tire kind of caught into a rock or something like that, it struggles on getting back up out of that. Now, I don't have a servo coming yet. I need to get a servo for it. I know that, but again, this is really geared towards my daughter, so I don't want to get too crazy on upgrading this. I just want to make it capable for easier stuff and kind of just run with it from there. I did put a wheel and tire combo package on here, and again, I can leave links to all of these products that I'm using on this particular model if you have any interest in any of these products, and I will as well with all the Enduro stuff, etc. But I did this wheel and tire combo package specifically because, well, these wheels on here almost match our one-to-one excursion build perfectly. They're very similar, so I like those. Plus they have an adjustable offset on them, so I have them at I believe it's a 1 in 5 millimeter offset from side to side, and I have them on the bigger side, the 5 millimeter side. So that way, that again helps get me out a little bit further on my track width. The tires themselves look a lot like the TSL Super Swampers. It would actually be the TSL SX version because it has all the extra sidewall on it as well. And I had these in real life on build, one of my wood truck builds back in Wisconsin. I've always been a fan of these tires, the Super Swamper TSLs anyways. I really enjoy the Super Swamper boggers as well. They're great tires in real life, and I would only imagine for off-road dirt style stuff they would be great in the scale world as well. I'm not certain on the rockability for them, although I see many people use them, so I would believe that they would be good. I just have no personal experience with them. I would like to get a set of the 1.0 TSL boggers to try, just so I do have some first-hand experience, and that will be something that we will be trying. The RC four-wheel drive version, we're going to be getting a set of those and trying those out. I did adjust the stock shock position. It's stock that comes up here. I moved it down, and a lot of people are using or adding it in right here just behind the shock tower. I went one step further than that and went back a little bit further It gives me just a little bit more drop, and it probably holds it up just a little bit higher on the ride height portion of it, but I'm okay with that. Otherwise, it seems to work all right. It does have a little bit more sway or flex just as you're driving. You know, the body will roll over just kind of a little bit in doing so. You go to take off and it'll kind of tweak just a little bit like that. I'm not that worried about it. Actually, looking at it, the front is, because there's less weight up here, the front does have a little bit of a higher ride height now that I've adjusted the shocks the way that I have. So yeah, that's my current rundown on this. I think overall for the money, it was absolutely worth the money to get it, even because I knew going into it that I was going to end up having to change the electronics anyway. The servo and the motor at a minimum were going to have to be swapped out, and I knew that 100%. You know, if I was to keep it in its stock form like this one, you know, and not worry about trying to do any extreme crawling or anything like that, this would be okay. If you're not, you know, trying to go fast with it and you're just going to creep around with it and, you know, maybe mess around with it every once in a while, you just kind of want to do like a little scale build to have, this works perfectly fine in its stock form for that, minus the fact that this particular one, the engine burnt up on it super quick. If you're going to add weight to it and try and make it capable of, you know, more extreme terrains, just know that you're going to want to change the motor out on it, as well as the servo, pretty quickly. But anybody that's trying to do a, you know, more capable style crawler, I believe is already going to do that anyways. Any other genre that I've been into with RC, whether it's basher or drifter or crawler, you know, 110 scale crawler or whatever, you know, you're always upgrading the factory electronics anyways, because they work, sure, but they are not, you know, up to a consumer's expectations typically, right? I'm not saying that happens 100% of the time, but typically that's how it goes. So if you're doing that, yeah, I definitely, you know, if you can save, you spend half the amount of money on the basics that you're going to upgrade up anyways, I think it's definitely worth it. You can find that out for yourself if you would like. Again, I will have a link to these in the description. I would like to know your guys' comments on this particular car here, if you guys think that it's worth any of the money that you're spending on it, or if you think it's just absolutely garbage. I think personally, the hard body aspect of it, you know, even if you go through and change out all the lights, I think personally the hard body aspect of it, and, you know, having the majority of everything else to build a more capable crawler, it's definitely worth the money in my opinion. So let me know in the comments what you think. You know, like this video if you found this information at all informative. Give us a subscribe if you wouldn't mind, you know, to help the channel grow up a little bit. I want to continue to keep modifying this, as well as getting into the SCX24 stuff. But I do want to continue upgrading this particular model just to see really where we can take this. I think it's going to be, you know, because it is based off the SCX24, minus the frame rails being different, with a couple of changes, I can, you know, make this as competitive as any other 24 scale car out there. So let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, guys, I just wanted to show real quick a little comparison in what the geometry does or changes to for your flex, just by moving the shocks like I showed you. With moving them down onto the frame rails, this Jeep has absolutely all kinds of flex. Now, if you look at this Jeep, this is in the stock position, so look how high. It just gets you that for reference, my finger, I can basically slide my finger underneath of that. I just barely start bumping it. So that's, you know, 5/8, 3/4 of an inch or so of height. And it's not really overly stretched out. Whereas if you just look at this from the front angle, there's quite a bit of stretch out there. And there's not there. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick little view on that so you could, you know, check that out for yourselves and kind of get your opinion. Look at the tire gap here, right? 2 fingers. Let's come over here. I got just over a finger on that side, and that tire is off the ground, and I'm touching on all 4 tires on that one. So just want to give you a quick little rundown on that. All right, guys, so, you know, again, I just wanted to bring you guys along on a little review, my review of the Topmino 24 scale crawler, which is basically the knockoff of the Racent 24 scale crawler, which is, again, a knockoff of the Axial SCX24. So, hope you enjoyed the video. I plan to do more of these. We have parts on the way for this one to get this one back up and going. This one we will be sending back because they did send out the new one fairly quickly for us. I was pretty happy with the way that all worked out. So if you have any questions, comment below, and I will do everything that I can to answer those questions for you. Stay tuned to the next video in the next week, giving a little rundown, probably install as well video in the future of those products. I'll probably do that one first, and then, you know, we'll do a little test video at the end of that one, and then we'll actually do a detailed impression video after I've been able to run it for a little bit. So stay tuned for that, and see you in the next one. Later.